Good day everyone and welcome to my standard Templar build video for the Greymoor patch. This is the build you've seen me used in the past gameplay video I have released, as well as on streams whenever I run standard Templar. I have been using this build. As per usual, you can find the build link in the Discord server for the build editor, but the fact that this is not going to be a complete guide with every single possibility in terms of gear, like I do for Mastersorg, allows me to go a little bit more in detail as to traits, enchantments, etc. So I will go over everything already in this video. Now, for starters, as a race, I am an Orc for this build. The options here are Orc and Wood Elf. Most people go Wood Elf for roll dodge builds, which I perfectly understand, but I still like to go with Orc, simply because the sprint cost reduction, which is something you don't have as a Wood Elf, while you do still have 10% movement bonus. Wood Elf also has a little bit extra penetration when you roll dodge, but it's like, I think 2% or 2.5% extra damage in the end. It's not really worth considering for me, especially because with Orc I also get the max health bonus, some more tankiness with the health return, and I also have more into weapon damage because of here Swift Warrior and Brawny, while Wood Elf is more into stamina regeneration. So if I want to push weapon damage, be it for small scale or anything, Orc is going to allow me to do that more. In any case, if you are a Wood Elf, by all means keep it, it's equally good. I just prefer Orc for the reasons mentioned just now. As for the sets, I'm running 5 Eternal Hunt on the back bar, 5 Numen Acolyte on the front bar, 3 Endurance and 1 Dummy House. Now, as an explanation, Numen Acolyte is a pretty staple stamina set nowadays. You just get it for damage it gives. I only one bar it. On the back bar I have the Eternal Hunt set. There's a couple of options here. I've gone with Eternal Hunt because this allows me to kite things out very well. It helps both in the middle of a fight to just stop somebody from pressuring you as much, but also especially when I'm kiting a large group of people. This is a set I really need. I don't have the same ability as I have on Sorcerer or anything, so while I have triggered a large group of people, I do still need something extra to get out, and Eternal Hunt is really nice for that. Other options to slot here are Morkeldin, Essence Thief and Clever Alchemist. I think Clever Alchemist is my second favorite here, because that's going to give you a really nice amount of burst when you get a potion. So if you do a potion into a Dawnbreaker, etc., you're going to have a lot of damage. Essence Thief, also a good option. It gives you both regeneration and damage. However, it limits your movement a little bit, because you have to go run to that little pool of light and pick it up, which is sometimes troublesome. And lastly, Morkeldin, base proc set, single target, very nice, but as I fight large groups I prefer something that allows me to deal with those rather than just with one single player at a time. You will see that theme recurring during this video. Then for the one Dummy House here and the Endurance. Now this is 4 item slots, and you have 2 options here. Either you do what I do, which is Endurance and then a 1-piece monster set, but you can also run a monster set and Antiquity if you want, instead of the Endurance. But the problem for me there is that I don't really have that good options for these two as a Stamina Templar. Let me explain. As a monster set, the things I'm looking at mostly for Templar is Balork and maybe Engine Guardian as well, for the damage in the first and the regeneration in the second. However, on both aspects I'm already quite good with this build, I'm quite fine. What I really lack is healing. So what I can look at then is Malubeth, but Malubeth doesn't really fit the build's playstyle, because as you've probably gathered already, I'm Orc, I'm medium armor, I'm fast. I'm going to be out of range of that thing all the time. It's got a bit the same problem as Essence Thief for me, which is that it limits my movement. And Endurance, on the other hand, is going to give me straight up tankiness that is always present. The health it gives and the health regeneration it gives, it's a lot. It's almost 600 health regen. It's always going to be active, and because I stack up this health regeneration with the food, which is Arcane Takeaway Broth, as well as the Mundus, which is the steed, again, to get more speed, but also more health regen. This is going to be buffed by the tri-stat potions I use as well. It's going to give me Major Fortitude, and then I get a nice amount of health regen to play around with. And the reason I've gone with that much is to counter the healing nerf, the 20% healing nerf that has occurred in this patch. I can't get the same result with Antiquities and Monster Set. I can get a decent Monster Set, such as Balork, but even then for the Antiquity I wouldn't know. I don't want to run Malakath because I want to keep my crits as a Templar. It's good for that, to just blow up the squishies with some crits. It also, like other options are Talk of Tonal Constancy, but I don't need that much magic regeneration. And that's really the only two monster sets that are even worth considering, I think, for Templar. Most antiquities that are worth considering for Templar. Now, as a one piece here, I've chosen for Dobby House. This again is also for increasing my survivability. Just a little bit extra amount of maximum magicka is going to allow me to cast that extra perch every now and then, which is good. The stamina is going to give a little bit of extra damage too, not as much as a one piece weapon damage would, so if you don't need that extra maximum magicka, definitely you want to go for something like a one piece Bulwark. As I've mentioned before, as a potion I use the Essence of Health. This is also sometimes to cast an extra purge on top, so if I take like what you'll often see me do in a video is that I will cast a purge and then a potion straight after, and then I can do another purge. And my magicka bar still allows me to cast one more purge or even more, or toppling charge straight after. But that's really all I need in terms of magic regeneration, because I will go over it sooner too. But the only later too. But the only two magicka skills I use are Purge and Toppling Charge. Now, speaking of which, for the skills now, I'm going to be using as a first skill Executioner. This is not something I'm always going to use while I'm fighting an enemy. For example, versus a Rollerblade or another Stamina Templar, or anything really that focuses on roll dodge a lot, or that is going to do that when they get low on health. I'm not going to be using Executioner. I will keep on using my spammable jabs, because that's going to keep on hitting through roll dodge, while the Executioner is going to deal no damage anymore. I do use this skill versus, for example, Magicka Sorceress and Magicka Decays. I'm definitely going to be using it there. Third skill, second skill is jabs. It's a spammable, basic thing here. Rally is a heal, however unreliable dispatch. It's a bit bugged all over, but it also gives my weapon damage buff and the minor endurance buff, which is why I keep on using it. Plus the heal, it usually still gives something, which is very nice. Fourth skill, Toppling Charge. Strange how one of the best CCs in the game these days, because it's, first of all, it's difficult to avoid it. I know you can like roll it and block it, but if you do those two things while the Toppling Charge has already been cast at you, you're not going to dodge it anymore. It's going to go through your roll dodge, etc., which is very nice for the Templar, of course, when you have this kind of very reliable CC. On top of that, it's also going to be a camp closer, again increasing the amount of mobility I have in a fight, and it's going to put them off balance, which is going to work nice with a certain CP passive that we'll see in a bit, which increases my damage done against off-balance enemies. Fifth skill, Camouflage Hunter. This is purely for the minor berserk, the 8% damage increase. I already have the critical damage buff, critical chance buff from jabs, but with the berserk here as well, I get a lot of extra damage on top. Then Dawnbreaker of Smiting, the ultimate. You can run the two-handed ultimate here if you want, but I do definitely prefer the Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Again, in the spirit of fighting groups, this allows me to just smack down an entire group while I've tightened the mouse a little bit, and then follow it up with an AoE cleave of jabs, often taking somebody down with that. It's also a stun, which is really nice defensively sometimes if I want to stun an entire group and getting away. However, most often as a defensive ultimate I will be using Undo. Undo being a very nice ult for kiting and defense is something also I definitely want for the extra mobility it gives. After all, Templar doesn't have anything like streak or whatever, so you need some extra like focus on mobility. Undo will give that. It gives minor protection as well, however Templar only gets minor protection buff from jabs. That being said, if you've been on the back buff for quite some time, it will drop away, as it only lasts for, I think, 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds over here, and Undo is going to be there always. Now, as for the other back buff skills, Purge, my second magicka costing skill, is going to be just to remove all negative effects if I want, the dots, etc. Very nice in the Templar toolkit, of course. Often I cancel it in a roll dodge, as you have seen me do this before. This basically removes all roots and snares and dots from me and allows me to just go into a certain direction, kite things out very well. The Eternal Hunt on top of that is going to stop people from chasing me as much, so it's really nice for getting away like this. Then the next skill is the basic armor buff, you always want to keep this up, of course. Then my main heal over time, Vigor, which, you know, took quite a hit with healing nerfs, that's why I've gone with quite a bit of health regen. Then Shuffle, you can also run Race Against Time here, however I do keep on using Shuffle because of the major evasion. One of the main counters I've experienced in this build really is undodgeable AoE, AoEs that can hit you. Like the prime example of this is Leap. I can't roll dodge that, while this build is very much focused on roll dodge, but Shuffle is going to reduce that damage by quite a bit. Race Against Time is going to increase the damage you deal because of the crit buff, but I find I already have enough of the damage and I would like some more survivability with this instead. Then last skill is Power of the Light, basic burst ability here. You want to cast that in the start of your rotation, and then after that you cast a jab, and then after that is the C, toppling charge, and then some more jabs or executioner to finish it off when the Power of the Light hits. Sometimes I'll also just open up with Power of Light and go straight into a Dawnbreaker if I don't want a group that is fighting me to pressure me while I'm spamming jabs. One more thing about gear I forgot to mention earlier is the traits and enchantments, of course. So I've gone with, I'll just go over every piece here, but basically I have 4 well-fitted and 3 impenetrable. You can switch to more impenetrable if you feel squishy, but roll dodge being quite strong, I think, especially for this build with Eternal Hunt, it synergizes well, is something I want to boost. It also reduces the sprint cost further, just like Orc does, which allows me to kite things out really far. Also the stamina regeneration boost this is going to give will greatly improve the fact that I have a bit of a low stamina regeneration pool. As you see, unbuffed is 1750, which is a bit low for standard Templar, but with the amount of well-fitted I have and bow heavy attacks, I can really boost this up quite a bit. Bow heavy attacks are quite important for me. It's one of the reasons I've gone with bow, the other one being the major expedition, of course, when you do a roll dodge, again synergizing with the well-fitted and the Eternal Hunt. But the heavy attacks are going to allow me to have some kind of ranged stamina return. I think it's real nice for Templar, I use it all the time, the heavy attacks here, and this together with the tri-set potions and the base regen I have, plus the well-fitted, is enough regeneration for me. I can practically keep on running forever like this, if I can just get a heavy attack in every now and then, which is quite easy to do. Now for the CPs in this build, I'm just going to go over all of them, of course. A good amount in Ironclad here, resistant to get a decent amount of crit resist. As I said, I only have 3 impenetrable, so I do want to stack at this point quite a bit. Then Hardy Elemental Defender, Thick Skinned. I know you can purge dots, but I do still keep quite a bit of points into Thick Skinned for when I'm out of Magicka or whatever. You want to get Unchained, of course, which is going to help your stamina regeneration. You can see I have quite a bit of quick recovery as well. This will go counter the healing nerf a little bit more. Siphoner, 1 point is just to put an extra debuff on the enemy with the point I have left. Quite a bit in Sprinter, again, for kiting groups, I need a lot of that. Break free, cost reduction, basic stuff here. Quite a bit in tenacity as well for the bow heavy attacks. I want to boost that as well. I don't have anything in health recovery. I have been considering it, however, for extra tankiness, but I do find with the amount of health regeneration I've stacked right now, I'm quite safe on that. If that is not the case for you, you can swap some other points from like Sprinter, for example, which has a lot in it, to put that into healthy, boosting your survivability. Tumbling, you of course want to have a lot on that as well, as this build focuses a lot on roll dodges. Don't have anything in Shadow Ward. Block is only something I use in pivotal moments, like when I am on low health and I want to get the Psychic Shield from Undo, in which case this is going to be useful. Then again, some points to the healing CP to counter the healing nerf. Then Master at Arms, 72 points. This is going to be the CP that will buff up your jab damage. Physical Weapon Expert, just a little bit in here because it scales so very well for the light attacks and sometimes heavy attacks I do with bow. Opening up with that and a powerful light can already put a little bit of like damage before you burst into the enemy, which is nice. Then Precise Strikes, quite a bit in that. Again, I'm running a build with crit, so I want to boost that up. Not to mention, it also boosts up the critical healing I do. In medium armor, I have quite a lot of crit chance on the back bar as well, especially because I'm running bow too, which gives another bit of, which just gives another passive into crit. So I do want to have quite a bit in that, again, to counter the healing nerfs. Then Piercing, quite a decent amount here, and Mighty for more basic damage. but that concludes it for the full build right now. Oh, one more thing maybe, jewelry enchants before I forget. I have 2 regeneration enchants and 1 damage enchant. I don't know if I've already gone over that, but now you know. In any case, build link is also in the Discord server. I have a gameplay of this, it will be linked in the description, and you can also just find it on my channel. And I hope you guys will enjoy. And thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.